Let me turn now to Sarah Kate Ellis. She's the CEO and president of GLAAD, a U.S. LGBT advocacy group. Sarah, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me today.
Talk to us about the mood in the LGBT community. I imagine a profound sense of grief and loss, but also a sense of solidarity and unity.
Yeah, you know, this was an attack on LGBT people, but also an attack on Americans. And I think that, you know, we feel really strongly that it was a terrible, terrible situation, and it is, and it continues to be. The mood is somber, and we feel disheartened. But with that, we are victims of violence all the time, the LGBT community here in America and abroad. And it's really important that that message is getting out. This is at an epic and massive level, absolutely, but we see violence on a daily basis in the LGBT community. And it's about this negative discrimination and hate that's propagated both here and abroad against the LGBT community, and that has to end, and we feel vigilant about that, and as a community have come together around that. It's about acceptance, and it's about love winning here.
So how do you even begin the healing process after such a horrific attack? Where do you start?
You start by recognizing those lives that we lost, by naming those names, by reading about the people and sharing their stories. We know in America that when you know somebody who's LGBT, it's hard to hate them and discriminate against them. And that starts the healing, that builds the bridges, that brings people together. You can't hate somebody whose story you know. And those people that died on Saturday night or early Sunday morning, they deserve to be known and recognized, and it's our job to make sure that we honor them. And it's about not being afraid. We won't cower in the LGBT community. We never have, and we never will. We will march in the June. Right now is Pride Month in the United States, and all the Pride activities are going on as planned. We'll be vigilant and cautious, of course, but it's important that we continue marching on. We're not there yet. We had a big win last year with the Supreme Court in marriage equality, but you can see from what happened here on Saturday morning, we are still the victims of extreme violence.
So do you expect to see stepped up security at the gay pride celebrations? And do people really safe going to these festivities?
You know, I'm certain many mayors in cities and towns have called for beefed up security, but beefed up security is not the answer. The answer is getting rid of discrimination, hate, and replacing it with acceptance and love. And that's what we're moving towards, and that's what we want to do. In the short term or even over the years, yes, beefed up security is important. We are targets of violence, and so that needs to be taken very, very seriously. But that is one thing that's done, or a symptom of the overall disease, and hate and intolerance are the overall disease.
Sarah, you mentioned hate and, you know, so much intolerance, but when you look around the world, there's also been such a remarkable show of solidarity from every corner of the world. What is your reaction when you see that?
It is absolutely heartwarming to see all of the vigils that are happening across the globe. And, you know, I started out by saying it wasn't an attack on LGBT people, but it was an attack on Americans, and it was an attack on our American values of freedom and equality. And I think that around the world, we all feel that deep in our souls.
And I have to ask you, we are in a presidential election season. What is it that you want to hear from the political leaders in this country?
I want to hear from the political leaders that they stop politicizing this, that this doesn't become it doesn't continue to put the LGBT community as other, that they bring us together and they treat us like every other American in this country, and don't continue to treat us like a marginalized group. I think it's very, very important that the people at the top of this country are speaking about acceptance and love and bringing people together and not dividing us apart.
Acceptance and love. We'll leave it at that. Sarah Kate Ellis, thank you so much.